Hello everyone, welcome back to more Doki Doki Literature Club. Today we're just gonna be going as far as we can and I guess see where it goes. I might not be doing all of the voices because I don't know, it's tiring. I just might do every like female voice as like the generic anime chick voice, like hi again, because that's like the easiest, and then just do my regular voice for me. But yeah, let's get into it. Hi again, Bean. Glad to see you didn't run away on us. Don't worry. This might be a little strange for me, but at least I keep my word. Well, I'm back at the literature club. I was the last to come in, so everyone else is already hanging around. Thanks for keeping your promise, Bean. I hope this isn't too overwhelming of a commitment for you. Making you dive headfirst into literature when you're not accustomed to it. Oh, come on. Like he doesn't deserve any slack. Sayori told me you didn't even want to join any clubs this year. And last year, too. I don't know if you plan to just come here and hang out or what. But if you don't take us seriously, then you won't see the end of it, Baka. Natsuki. You certainly have a big mouth for someone who keeps her manga collection in the club room. Oh! Natsuki finds herself stuck between saying Monica and manga. Manga is literature. It's an important part of our culture. Swiftly defeated, Natsuki plops back into her seat. Don't worry, guys. Bean always gives it his best as long as he's having fun. And around some baddies. Okay. He helps me with busy work without me even asking. Like cooking, cleaning my room. How dependable. Sayori, that's because your room is so messy, it's distracting. Like, literally, girl, just clean it up. Like, I don't need to be walking, like, through your doorway and stepping on a bowl of cereal. Like, how long has that been there? Are these frosted flakes, or are these, like, Honey Nut whatevers? They're so disintegrated in this stinky, rotting milk that I don't even know. And now my foot's been in there. Okay. And you almost set your house on fire once. Is that so? You two are really good friends, aren't you? She won't let me hit, bro. What do you expect? Okay, I'm sorry. I might be a little jealous. How come? You and Bean can become good friends too. Sayori. I don't want to be friends with her. I'm trying to make out sloppy stuff. Okay. As usual, Sayori seems oblivious to the weird situation she just put me into. Oh, Yuri even brought you something today, you know? Wait, Sayori. Me? Not really. Don't be shy. It's really nothing. What is it? Never mind. Sayori made it sound like a big deal when it's really not. What do I do? I don't know how to deal with this. Sorry. I'm sorry, Yuri. I wasn't thinking. I guess that means it's up to me to rescue this situation. Hey, don't worry about it. First of all, I wasn't expecting anything in the first place. So any gesture from you is a pleasant surprise. It'll make me happy no matter what. Is that so? Yeah, I won't make a big deal if you don't want it to be. Alright, well, here. Yuri reaches into her bag and pulls out a book. I didn't want you to feel left out, so I picked out a book that I thought you might enjoy. It's a short read, so it should keep your attention, even if you don't usually read. Aw, shit. I didn't read the last one. Discuss it if you wanted. This is... How is this girl accidentally being so cute? So cute! She even picked out a book she thinks I'll like, despite me not reading so much. Yuri, thank you. I'll definitely read this. Enthusiastically, I take the book. Phew. Well, you can read it at your own pace. I look forward to hearing what you think about it. Now that everyone's settled in, I expected Monica to kick off some scheduled activities for the club. But that doesn't seem to be the case. Sayori and Monica are having a cheery conversation in the corner. Yuri's face is already buried in a book. I can't help but notice her intense expression, like she was waiting for this chance. Meanwhile, Natsuki is rummaging around in the closet. I'm really curious to talk to Yuri a bit more. But at the same time, I feel bad for distracting her from reading. I catch a glimpse of the cover of her book. It looks like the same book that she lent to me. More than that, it seems to be... she seems to be on the first few pages. Guys, I really need to learn how to read. Because listen, so like I can read, but like sometimes my eyes just dart too fast, and like I just say what I assume the rest of the words mean, like because like I can read, I just like skim though, so I don't like see every word. I just see like every other word, and then like I reread it again, like, out of the corner of my eye, and I notice that I switched words around, or I've added words that weren't there, and I'm like, damn, I really, like, didn't read that. And I can't help it, though, either, because I'm just, like, sitting here, just trying to read as fast as I can, and make it, like, coherent, but, like, I just end up seeming dumb. Like, that one lady on TikTok who, like, just points to the words, and like every word she's reading is the wrong one. You know who I'm talking about? Anyways, crap. I think she's noticed me looking at her. She sneaks another glance at me, and our eyes meet for a split second. But that only makes her hide her face deeper in her book. Sorry, I was just spacing out. I mutter this, sensing I made her uncomfortable. Oh, it's fine. If I was focused, then I probably wouldn't have noticed in the first place. So you're focusing on me a little bit and your book a little bit? Okay, Yuri. But I'm rereading a bit of this, so... That's the book that you gave me, right? I wanted to reread some of it. Not for any particular reason. Except for talking about it again with my Pookie. Just curious, how come you have 2 copies of the same book? Well, when I stopped at the bookstore yesterday, that's not what I meant. I mean, I just happened to buy 2 of them. I see. There's something fairly obvious here that Yuri isn't telling me, but I decide to let it go. I'll definitely start reading it soon. I'm glad to hear. Once it starts to pick up, you might have a hard time putting it down. It's a very engaging and relatable story. Is that so? What's it about anyways? Well, Yuri closes the book and scans her eyes over the back. The book is titled Portrait of Markov. Oh, so she's kind of like a pretentious reader. The goth chicks usually are. Not that there's anything bad about it, but like there's something about like the all black clothing, like black lipstick, purple hair, that just makes baddies want to read like, I don't know, Vladimir Nabokov or whatever his name is. Like there's just something about that combination that makes the goth like baddies just want to read the most like hard to understand stuff, but yet they understand it because they're big brained. It's like it's usually the goth ones too. Like they just historically have liked reading hard shit to read, you know? Someone should explore that connection, I think. There's an ominous looking eye symbol on the front cover. It's Bill Cipher. Sorry. Alright. I just wanted to make sure I didn't accidentally give anything away. Basically, it's about this girl in high school who moves in with her long-lost younger sister. But as soon as she does, her life gets really strange. Life is Strange is mentioned. She gets targeted by these people who escaped from a human experiment prison. And while her life is in danger, she needs to desperately choose who to trust. No matter what she does, she ends up destroying most of her relationship, and her life starts to fall apart. That's kind of dark, isn't it? That's kind of dark, isn't it? Sorry. Yuri made it sound like it was going to be a nice story, so that dark turn came from nowhere. What do you mean? She literally told us yesterday that she really only likes like dark psychological stuff. How did you not expect this? And the ominous eye on the cover, how did you not expect this? You're kind of just like blinded by like the baddie. You got baddie blindness, I guess. Yuri gently giggles all of the sudden. Are you not a fan of that sort of things, Bean? No, it's not like that. I mean, I could definitely enjoy those kinds of stories, so don't worry. I hope so. Yeah, I totally forgot that Yuri is into those things. I told you, it's baddie blindness. She's so shy and reclusive on the outside, but in her mind, she seems to be completely different. It's just that those kinds of stories, they challenge you to look at life from a strange, new perspective. One where everything is dark and bloody and gory, and life is... Okay. When horrible things happen, not just because someone wants to be evil, but because they have their own goals or own philosophy that they believe in. Even evil guys have something they believe in, guys. Then suddenly, when you thought you related to the protagonist, they're made out to be the naive one for letting their one-sided morals interfere with the villain's plans. Yeah, like totally send this giant volcano thing going down to this village. Like, I get that you are a villain, but like totally do it. You have your own philosophy, right? Like, as long as you have a philosophy, it's fine. I'm rambling. I'm rambling, aren't I? Not again. I'm sorry. Hey, don't apologize. I haven't lost interest or anything. Well, I guess it's alright then. But I feel like I should let you know that I have this problem. When I let things like books and writing fill my thoughts, I kind of forget to pay attention to other people. So I'm sorry if I end up saying something strange. And please stop me if I start talking too much. I really don't think you need to worry. That just means you're passionate about reading. The least I can do is listen. It's a literature club after all. That's true. That's true. In fact, I might as well get started reading it, right? You don't have to. What are you talking about? What are you saying is what he said. What we said? It sucks that I can't make my character into a girl because, like, it'd be so awesome, I feel like, to play this game as a lesbian. Like, I am a lesbian, but I mean, like, my character being a lesbian, too. Aw, I didn't read that. Let me just get the book. I quickly retrieved the book. Aw. Alright, it's fine if I sit here, right? I slip into the next seat. Frick. I slip into the seat next to Yuri's. Yeah. Are you sure? You seem a little apprehensive. I'm sorry. It's not that I don't want you to. It's just something I'm not very used to. That is, reading in company with someone. I see. Well, just tell me if I end up distracting you or anything. When are we gonna read our poems? All right. I open the book and start the prologue. I soon understand what Yuri means about reading in company. It's as if I can feel her presence over my shoulder as I read. It's not a particularly bad thing, maybe a little distracting, but the feeling is somewhat comforting. Yuri is in the corner of my eye. I realize that she's not actually looking at her own book. I glance over. It looks like she's reading from my book instead. Sorry, I was just... Yuri, you really apologize a lot, don't you? I do? I really don't mean to. Sorry. I mean... Here, this should work, right? I slide my desk until it's up against Yuri's, then hold my book more between the two of them. I suppose so. Yuri timidly closes her own copy. Once we each lean in a little bit, our shoulders are almost touching. It feels like my left arm is in the way, so instead I use my right hand to hold the book open. I guess that makes it kind of difficult to turn the page. Here. Oh, side view of the baddie? Okay. Yuri takes her left arm and holds the left side of the book between her thumb and forefinger. I do the same with my right arm on the right side of the book. That way, I turn a page and Yuri slides it over with her thumb after it flips to her side. But in holding it like this, we're huddled even closer than before. It's actually kind of distracting me. It's as if I could feel the warmth of Yuri's face, and she's in the corner of my vision. Read, bruh. Read. Are you ready? Huh? To turn the page? Sorry. I think I got a bit distracted for a second. I glance over at Yuri's face again and our eyes meet. I don't know how I'll be able to keep up with her. That's okay. You're not as used to reading, right? I don't mind being patient if it takes you a little longer. It's probably the least I can do. since you've been so patient with me. Yeah, thanks. We continue reading. Yuri no longer asks me if I'm ready to turn the page. Instead, I just assume that she finishes the page before me, so I turn it on my own volition. We continue the first chapter in silence. Bro, you know what? Realizing now, I signed up to be part of the literature club, but I did not sign up to be part of the literature club. I feel like it's been so long since I've read anything other than fan fiction that like my mind is kind of like imploding because there's just so many words like strung together to make sentences that I have to read out loud. And that kind of sucks. The game is pretty fun though, I guess, so far. Someone was telling me that it gets kind of crazy, so I guess we gotta see it to the end. Even so, turning each page almost feels like an intimate exchange. My thumb gently letting go of the page, letting it flutter over to her side as she catches it under her own thumb. Hey Yuri, this might be a silly thought, but are we frickin' this book? The main character kind of reminds me of you a little bit. You think so? How does she? Well, I guess she's more blunt in a lot of ways, but she also second guesses all of the things that she says and does. Like she's afraid she'll do something wrong. It's not like I can see into your head or anything, but they're kind of reminiscent of some of your mannerisms. I see. Yuri remained silent for a moment. But Bean, that's probably a terrible thing to have in common with her. That's so embarrassing that you think that. Well, wait. I didn't mean it in a bad way or anything. Sorry, I really didn't know you were self-conscious about that sort of thing. I guess I more meant it's kind of cute. What are you saying all of a sudden? Okay, everyone. She has All Might voice now. I think it's about time we share today's poems with each other. We might not have enough time if we wait too long. Yuri inhales, spared from finishing her thought. Is that alright, Yuri? You look kind of down. I'm sorry if you haven't been looking forward to this. It's fine. Yuri releases her hand from the book, causing it to close on top of my thumb. Alright. I guess I'll do some more reading tonight. Wait, okay, so does reading with Yuri depend on whose words you picked more of doing the poem? Like, if you picked more of like Monica's words, would you be reading with her, or like is it just Yuri that you read with? Guess I'll have to play it more than once. Or would you prefer I only read it with you? I guess I don't have too much of a preference either way. In that case, I'll read a little more tonight. It'll be more fun to read with you after it picks up a bit, you know? That's good reasoning. In that case, feel free to finish the first two chapters in your own time. Alright. I stand up. I make a mental note of where I left off in the book, then slip it back into my bag. By the way, did you remember to write a poem last night? Yeah? My relaxation ends. I can't believe I agreed to do something so embarrassing. Like, who writes down their feelings into a poem? Who spends hours upon hours carefully finding words to express how they're feeling inside, all to put it down on paper, to hold their deepest, darkest secrets and memories and feelings. Who does that? Who does that? Only losers do something so embarrassing. I couldn't really find much inspiration since I've never really done this before. Well, now that everyone's getting ready, why don't you find someone to share with? I can't wait! Sayori and Monica enthusiastically pull out their poems. Sayori's is on a wrinkled sheet of loose leaf torn from a spiral notebook. On the other hand, Monica wrote hers in a composition notebook. I can already see Monica's pristine handwriting from where I sit. Natsuki and Yuri reluctantly comply as well, reaching into their bags. I do the same myself. Who should I show my poem to first? Yuri, the goth baddie. Yuri seems the most experienced, so I should start with her. I can trust her opinion, to be fair. As Yuri reads the poem, I notice her eyes lighten. Exceptional. Huh? What was that? Did I say that out loud? Yuri first covers her mouth, but then ends up covering her whole face. He's going to hate me. You really didn't do anything wrong, Yuri. I guess you're right. What am I getting so nervous for? Yuri takes a breath. So, what kind of writing experience do you have? Your use of imagery and metaphors indicates you've written a lot of poetry before. Really? Wow, that's a huge compliment coming from you. This is actually my first time, really. Huh? Yuri stares at me blankly, then looks at my poem again. Well, I know that. I just meant, Yuri trails off, unable to find an excuse. She traces her finger along the words in the poem as if breaking it down more thoroughly. Yeah, okay. This is the reason I was able to tell. It's just that there are specific writing habits that are usually typical of new writers. And having been through that myself, I kind of learned to pick up on them. I think the most noticeable thing I recognize in new writers is that they try to make their style very deliberate. In other words, they tend to pick a writing style separate from the topic matter, and they fit the two together. The end result is that both styles and expressiveness are weakened. Once Yuri finds her train of thought, it's as if her demeanor totally changes. Her stammering is completely gone, and she sounds like an expert. Of course, that's not something you can be blamed for. There are so many different skills and techniques that go into writing even a simple poem. Not just finding them and building them, but getting them to work together is probably the most challenging part. It might take you some time, but it all comes with practice and learning by example and trying new things. I also hope that everyone else in the club gives you valuable feedback. Natsuki can be a little bit biased though. Biased? How? Well, never mind. I shouldn't be talking about people like that. Sorry. It's fine. I'm not sure if Yuri is apologizing to herself, to me, or to Natsuki. Do you mind if I read your poem now? Please do. I'd love to share my thought process behind it. Yuri smiles dreamily, as if that's a rare opportunity for her, which itself is kind of funny. After all, isn't this supposed to be a literature club? Ghost under the light. The tendrils of my hair illuminate beneath the amber glow, bathing. It must be this one. The last remaining street light to have withstood the test of time. The last yet to be replaced by the sickening blue-green hue of the future. I bathe, calm, breathing air as if... calm, breathing air of the present, but living in the past. The light flickers. I flicker back. I'm sorry, I have such terrible handwriting. What? I wasn't thinking that at all. But it took you a long time to read. That's because I'm dumb as hell, girl. Like, I'm illiterate. Like, haven't you been listening to me this entire video? Like, I keep stuttering and stumbling and, like, mixing up words. So it's not your fault, per se. It's my brain's fault, you know? Well, I just don't read script very often. I actually think your handwriting is pretty. That's a relief. But I also like the poem. Even though it's short, it was really descriptive. It wasn't too short. I usually write longer poems. Not at all. I'm really glad you liked it. I'll be honest. Since it's our first time sharing, I wanted to write something a little more mild. Something easy to digest, I suppose. Are you into ghosts, Yuri? Are you a monster fricker? Actually, the story isn't about a ghost at all, Bean. Really? I must have totally missed the point. Well, I suppose you are dumb as hell. Just kidding. Well, I suppose you did only glance over it. But remember that poets often express their own thoughts, feelings, and experiences in their work. They usually do more than tell a simple story or paint a picture. In this case, perhaps the subject of the poems is only being symbolically compared to a ghost, lingering in her last remaining place of comfort, unable to let go of the past, and soon to be left with nothing. That's a lot more solemn than putting it that way. I hadn't even thought of that. That's impressive. It's nothing, really. Yours was impressive too, so... Nah. If anything, I could probably learn a thing or two from you. Shawty. Teach me. You think so? Yeah, of course. You know, I was really nervous about doing all this, but in the end, I enjoyed it. I'm going to keep doing my best for you, Bean. Oh, me too. Who should I show my poem to next? Honestly, despite it all, I kind of like Natsuki. She kind of reminds me of Bakugo in that, like, I'm big, I'm cool, I'm bad. Like, that's how she seems in my mind. Like, she just seems like she's too cool for everything, and like she would like call people nerds and tell them to KYS. So like she just also similar names. Natsuki, Katsuki. All right. Bean, if you're not going to take this club seriously, then go home. What? Harsh. What, you expect me to believe that you actually put effort into this? No, I really didn't. I just picked words. Do you think I'm stupid? I'm not a writer. Maybe it's not very good, but yeah, I did put in effort. We all start somewhere, right? If you're still proud of the first poem you ever wrote, then I'd like to read it. That was hard to get out. Painful to think about. No. Painful to think about? That's how I should have said it. Fine. Well, sorry. You'll get better anyway. I tell you what to improve, but you're better off just trying again. Fair enough. Well, to each their own, I guess. Anyways, I wasn't trying to impress you. I was trying to impress the goth baddie with purple hair. What color hair do you have? Pink. Not goth at all. Anyway, I guess I gotta share mine now. Knowing you, you'll probably think it's stupid. Eagles can fly, monkeys can climb, crickets can leap, horses can race, owls can seek, cheetahs can run, eagles can fly, people can try. But that's about it. Oh my gosh, that you really. Okay, listen, your poem's like that, and my poem is like mine, alright? I didn't read my poem, but I know that at the very least, it's better than that. Not that it's like awful, but like the fact that you were shaming me? Girl, did you even try? Oh, people can try, but that's about it. You're the that's about it, aren't you? Yeah, I told you that you weren't going to like it. I like it. Don't lie. What? Just be honest. I am. Why are you so convinced that I wouldn't like it? Well, because everyone in high school thinks that writing has to be all sophisticated and stuff. So people don't even take my writing seriously. But isn't the point of poems... Oh, that's my voice. But isn't the point of poems for people to express themselves? Your writing style wouldn't make your message any less valid. Yes, exactly. I like when it's easy to read, but it hits you hard. You call that hitting you hard, bruh? That was just like smile now, cry later type of thing. You know what I mean? Like in this poem, seeing everyone around you do great things can be really disheartening. So I decided to write about it. I understand. But the other nice thing about simple writing is that it puts more weight on the wordplay. Like I set up for a rhyme at the end, but then made it fall flat on purpose. It helps bring out the feeling in the last line. So you did. I guess more went into it than I realized. That's what it means to be a pro. That's what it means to be the #1 hero, dummy. Okay, listen, imagine in a universe where Doki Doki Literature Club happens in the same school, happens to like the regular education kids in UA, right? Imagine, okay? Bakugo Katsuki being chained up by UA. She is, hey UA! Bakugo Katsuki is not a monster. That's who she is. Just imagine it, okay? If she had longer hair, just imagine it. I'm glad you learned something. Didn't expect that from the youngest one here, did you? I guess not. I decided to humor her with that last comment. I don't really care how old everyone is, but if Natsuki is feeling proud, then I won't take that away from her. Do I have to go through all of them, or can I just go to the next part? Because I feel like I don't want to. Alright, Monica before Sayori. Where's my thing? Okay. Hi, Bean. Having a good time so far? Yeah. Good. Glad to hear it. By the way, since you're new and everything, if you ever have any suggestions for the clubs, like new activities or things we can do better, I'm always listening. Always. So don't be afraid to bring things up, okay? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Of course I'll be afraid to bring things up. I'm much better off just going with the flow until I'm more settled in. Anyway, want to share your poem with me? It's kind of embarrassing, but I guess I have to. Don't worry, Bean. We're all a little embarrassed today, you know? But it's that sort of barrier we'll all learn to get past soon. Yeah, that's true. I hand Monica my poem. Great job, Bean. I was going, ooh, in my head while reading it. She's kind of cute. Ooh, I take back anything that I said about her in the beginning. I think she's cute. I think that her mannerisms are like very silly, very goofy, girl-like. I don't know. I like her. I like her more than I did in the first one, I guess. I'm not sure why, but I didn't expect you to go for something so deep. I guess I underestimated you. It's easiest for me to keep everyone's expectations low. That way, it always counts when I put in some effort. You know what? Okay, so the mentality that this dude has is the same mentality that my lovely, amazing fiance has. Like, she's more of the type that's like, I'm gonna keep everyone happy. Like, I'm gonna be silly and goofy and fun. And hopefully, if anyone hates me, they won't be mean about it. But, like, I'm very much the opposite. So I'm like, I'm going to be mean no matter what. And if they have a problem with it, I will verbally, like, take them down. You know what I mean? And this is just interesting connection. I just wanted to point it out. That's not very fair. Well, I guess it worked anyway. You know that Yuri likes this kind of writing, right? Writing that's full of imagery and symbolism. Unlike Sayori, who likes using simple and direct words to describe happiness and sadness, because she's dumb. Yuri likes it when readers are left to derive their own meaning out of it. It's very challenging to write like that effectively. Both allowing people to get something out of it just by feel, or letting them deeply analyze all the nuances. It can take years of practice, which I'm assuming Yuri has at this point. I never really asked, though. I'm sure I'm nowhere near your level yet. Oh, that was me reading it. Don't worry so much about that. Do your own thing. Just keep exploring and learn by trying new things. I'm sure I'll end up trying different things a lot. Like positions. Just kidding. It could take a while before I feel comfortable doing this. That's okay. I'd love to see you try new things. That's the best way to find the kind of style that suits you. Everyone else might be a little bit biased toward their own kinds of styles, but I'll always help you find what suits you the most. So don't force yourself to write the way everyone else wants you to write. It's not like you have to worry about impressing them or anything. Anyway, do you want to read my poem now? Don't worry. I'm not very good. You sound pretty confident for someone who claims to not be very good. Well, That's 'cause I have to sound confident. That doesn't mean I always feel that way, you know? I see. Well, let's read it then. The fuck? Long as hell. Hole in wall. It couldn't have been me. See the direction the spackle protrudes? A noisy neighbor? An angry boyfriend? I'll never know. I wasn't home. I peer inside for a clue. No, I can't see. I reel, blind, like a film left out in the sun. But it's too late. My retina's already scorched with a permanent copy of the meaningless image. It's just a little hole. It wasn't too bright. It was too deep, stretching forever into everything. A hole of infinite choices. I realize now that I wasn't looking in. I was looking out, and he, on the other hand, was looking in. So, what do you think? It's very free form, if that's what you call it. Sorry, I'm not really the right person to ask for feedback. It's okay. Yeah, that kind of style has gotten pretty popular nowadays. That is, a lot of poems have been putting emphasis on the timing between words and lines. When performed out loud, it can be very powerful. What was the inspiration behind this one? Well, I'm not sure how to put it. I guess you could say that I had some kind of epiphany recently. It's been influencing my poems a bit. An epiphany? Yeah, something like that. I'm kind of nervous to talk about deep stuff like that because it's kind of coming on strongly. Maybe after everyone is better friends with each other. Anyway, here's Monica's writing tip of the day. Sometimes when you're writing a poem or a story, your brain gets too fixated on a specific point. If you try so hard to make it perfect, then you'll never make any progress. Just force yourself to get something down on the paper and tidy it up later. Another way to think about it is this. If you keep your pen in the same spot for too long, you'll just get a big dark puddle of ink. So just move your hand and go with the flow. That's my advice for today. Thanks for listening. No! I don't know why, but I don't like Sayori. I hate this. This is a good poem, Bean. Are you sure it's your first time? Of course. It's not that good. Am I the kind of guy who would be writing poems in his spare time? I guess you're right. But that's why it impressed me. Well, to be honest, I was afraid you wouldn't do it seriously, or that you wouldn't write one at all. I'm actually really happy just that you wrote one. It just reminds me of how you're really a part of the club now. Not to mention the fact that I'm standing in front of you in the club room. But, well, of course. I'm not really into it yet. But that doesn't mean I'll break my promise. See? It's like I said before, Bean. Deep down, you're not selfish at all, you know? Trying new things like this for other people, that's something that only really good people do. Thanks, Sayori. I'm not sure if Sayori sees the full picture of my motive here. I'm just trying to boing, you know? And then again, I can't deny that she's part of the reason I joined. Knowing how much this means to her and all. Yeah. And I'm going to make sure you have lots of fun here, okay? That will be my way of thanking you. Alright, I'm going to hold you to that then. Yay! Now, you'll read my poem too, right? No! Don't worry, I'm really bad at this. We'll see about that. Dear sunshine, the way you glow through my blinds in the morning, it makes me feel like you missed me, kissing my forehead to help me out of bed, making me rub the sleep from my eyes. Are you asking me to come out and play? Are you trusting me to wish away a raining day? I look above, the sky is blue. It's a secret, but I trust you too. If it wasn't for you, I could sleep forever, but I'm not mad. I want breakfast. Sayori, this is just a guess, but did you wait until this morning to write this? No! Just a little bit. You can't answer just a little bit to a yes or no question. I forgot to do it last night. Well, at least that makes me feel a little better about myself. Don't be mean. I still tried my best. Yeah, I didn't mean to say that it was a bad poem. It came out nice, or how should I put it? It sounds just like you. Really? Yeah, especially the last line. I made eggs and toast. Even though you were late to school? It's bad to skip breakfast. I'll get all cranky. Well, I guess there's no point in arguing. Anyway, thanks for showing me. This was so much fun. Monica's the best. Yeah. But next time, I won't forget. And I'm going to write the best poem ever. Well, I guess I'll look forward to it. I guess that's everyone. I glance around the room. That was a little more stressful than I anticipated. It's as if everyone is judging me for my mediocre writing abilities. Even if they're just being nice, there's no way my poems can stand against theirs. This is a literature club after all. I sigh. I guess that's what I ended up getting myself into. Across the room, Sayori and Monica are happily chatting. My eyes land on Sayori and Natsuki. They gingerly exchange sheets of paper, sharing their respective poems. As they read in tandem, I watch each of their expressions change. Natsuki's eyebrows furrow in frustration. Meanwhile, Yuri smiles sadly. What's with this language? Huh? Did you say something? Oh, it's nothing. Natsuki dismissively returns the poem to the front desk with one hand. I guess you could say it's fancy. Thanks. Yours is cute. Cute? Did you completely miss the symbolism or something? It's clearly about the feeling of giving up. How can that be cute? I know that. I just meant the language, I guess. I was trying to say something nice. You mean you have to try that hard to come up with something nice to say? Thanks, but it really didn't come out nice at all. Well, I do have a couple suggestions. If I was looking for suggestions, I would have asked someone who actually liked it. Which people did, by the way. Sayori liked it, and Bean did too. So based on that, I'll gladly... Why is reading so hard? So based on that, I'll gladly give you some suggestions of my own. First of all, excuse me, I appreciate the offer, but I've spent a long time establishing my writing style. I don't expect it to change anytime soon. Unless, of course, I come across something particularly inspiring, which I haven't yet. And Bean liked my poem too, you know. He even told me he was impressed by it. Natsuki suddenly stands up. Oh? I didn't realize you were so invested in trying to impress our new member, Yuri. That's not what you're just... Yuri stands up as well. Maybe you're just jealous that Bean appreciates my advice more than he appreciated yours. Huh? And how do you know he didn't appreciate my advice more? Are you that full of yourself? No. If I was full of myself, I would deliberately go out of my way to make everything I do over cutesy. Ooh, she's attacking you. She's roasting you. Freshman versus third year goth baddie. Who's gonna win? Is everything okay? Well, you know what? I wasn't the one whose boobs magically grew a size bigger as soon as Bean started showing up. Natsuki! Natsuki, that's a little... This doesn't involve you. I don't like fighting, guys. Suddenly, both girls turned towards me as if they just noticed I was standing there. Bean, she's just trying to make me look bad. That's not true. She started it. If she could get over herself and learn to appreciate that simple writing is more effective, then this wouldn't have been a problem in the first place. What's the point of making your poems all convoluted for no reason? The meaning should jump out at the reader, not force them to have to figure it out. Actually, Natsuki, since you're a first year, you wouldn't actually understand, but there is such a thing called critical thinking and critical reading strategies. So yeah, historically, poets have been making their poems convoluted and hard to understand. And you can't just say that poems are supposed to jump out at the reader, the meaning should jump out at the reader, because when famous authors write, they don't make things so obvious. Yes, sometimes they will, but for the most part they won't. And you have to just accept that just because you are the type of writer who wants to make their point obvious doesn't mean that everyone is that same type of writer. They want the readers who like to think, those readers who like to analyze and figure it out and interpret her meanings, you know? So I'm just saying, Natsuki, maybe you shouldn't judge too quickly, alright? Help me explain that to her, Bean. Wait, there's a reason we have so many deep and expressive words in our language. It's the only way to convey complex feelings and meaning the most effectively. Avoiding them is not only unnecessarily limiting yourself, it's also a waste. You understand that, right, Bean? Well... How did I get dragged into this in the first place? It's not like I know anything about writing, but whomever I agree with, they'll probably think more highly of me. So, of course that's going to be... I'm going for Yuri because I get her point. We have all of these, words, these long words that not a lot of people understand, but the English language isn't simple, and no language is simple. So by limiting yourself to a simple pattern of speech, a simple pattern of writing, you're limiting yourself to seem uneducated, because that's what people will assume. If you're trying to be a highly acclaimed poet or a highly acclaimed writer, but you keep your phrases simple, plain, you don't leave anything to be analyzed or figured out, you're setting yourself up to be seen as a children's author, or you're setting yourself up to not be taken as seriously as you should be. If you're trying to write children's books, then that's fine. Even children's authors or young adult fiction authors still leave that room for personal opinions, for personal what is it called? It's basically the more you dumb down your talk, the more that you dumb down your words in your writing, and the more that you just keep it simple, the less you're going to be taken seriously as a writer, unfortunately. But that doesn't mean that your worth as a writer is any less. It just means that when it comes to the professional industry, you will just be seen as less than what you think you are, if that makes sense. You're right that I liked your poem. See? Wait. That's not an excuse for you to be so mean. You shouldn't pick a fight just because someone's opinion is different. That's not what happened at all. You wouldn't even take my poem seriously. I understand. Yuri, you're a seriously talented writer. It's no secret that I was impressed. Well, that's... But here's the thing. No matter how simple or refined someone's writing style is, they're still putting feelings into it, and it becomes something really personal. Exactly. I agree with that point. But to feel better than a person because someone can understand your writing because it's not as convoluted, that's where she went wrong. You know? Like, everyone writes in their own style and their own way, but, like, to just judge someone for that when you yourself aren't as professional, aren't as practiced, experienced, that's where you're wrong. Don't judge your upperclassmen, Natsuki. I see. I didn't notice that. I'm sorry. But Natsuki, you took it way too far. Yuri means well, and if you just told her how you felt, then this wouldn't have happened in the first place. Are you kidding me? That's exactly what I did. It was her that... Natsuki, I think that's enough. You both said some things that you didn't mean. Yuri apologized. Don't you think you should too? Natsuki clenches her fists. In the end, nobody has taken her side. She's trapped, at this point being defiant only because she can't handle the pressure. Typical freshman. I end up even feeling bad for her. Sometimes when I'm hurt, it helps to take a walk and clear my head. Sayori, she doesn't need to. You know what? I'm going to do that. It'll spare me from having to look at all your faces right now. Without warning, Natsuki snatches her poem up from the desk and storms out. On her way out, she crumples up the poem with her hands and throws it in the trash. Natsuki? She really didn't need to do that. I look across the room. Yuri has her chin buried in her hands while she stares down at her desk. I gingerly approach her and sit at the adjacent chair. Everything all right? I'm so embarrassed. I can't believe I acted like that. You probably hate me now. No, Yuri. How could anyone not have gotten frustrated after being treated like that? You handled it as well as anyone could. I don't think any less of you. Well, alright. I believe you. Thanks, Bean. You're too kind. I'm thankful to have you a part of this club now. It's nothing. One more thing. That one thing that Natsuki said about, I would never do anything so shameful. So, what thing did Natsuki say? Well, never mind that. I'm going to go make some tea. Good idea. Make enough for more than one person, okay? Yeah. Okay, everyone. It's just about time for us to leave. How did you feel about sharing poems? It was a lot of fun. Well, I'd say it was worth it. It was alright. Well, mostly. Bean, how about you? Yeah, I'd say the same. It was a neat thing to talk about with everyone. Awesome. In that case, we'll do the same thing tomorrow. What the hell? And maybe you learned something from your friends too. So your poems will turn out even better. I think to myself, I did learn a little more about the kinds of poems everyone likes. With any luck, that means I can at least do a better job impressing those I want to impress. I nod to myself with newfound determination. Bean, ready to walk home? Sure, let's go. Sayori beams at me. It truly has been a while since Sayori and I have spent this much time together. I really can't say I'm not enjoying it either. Sayori, about what happened earlier. What did you mean? What do you mean? You know, between Yuri and Natsuki. Does that kind of thing happen often? No. That's really the first time I've seen them fight like that. I promise they're both wonderful people. You don't hate them, do you? No, I don't hate them. I just wanted your opinion, that's all. I can see why they'd make good friends with you. You know, Bean, it's nice to get to spend time with you in the club, but I think seeing you get along with everyone is what makes me the happiest. Cuck. Sorry. And I really think everyone likes you too. That's... Every day is going to be so much fun. It looks like Sayori still hasn't caught onto the kind of situation I'm in. Sure, being friends with everyone is nice, but does it really need to stop there? We'll just have to see what the future holds, Sayori. I pat Sayori on the shoulder. I tell you, I'm awful. I'm sorry. It's like the 15th time I've apologized. I said that more to myself than to her, but it's easy to use Sayori as an internal monologue sometimes. Okay. Yeah, let's do this.